not use public grant if they can get them, and that's most obvious.
What's going to happen now? Is this diving centre viable without government support? Can you make a profit?
No.
It depends what you mean, and I'm sorry, is if the government are going to pay training grants and sustain the number necessary, yes, that can happen.
That's public money, so 80% of the cost has to be public money.
But
why
that
do we have
goes
to give
to
the
all
candy
training.
floss the
One at a
profits?
time.
Of course it does. I agree it does. And because it's a public facility, as in Norway, it should not be open to private to make profit out of.
Mr. Prescott, Mr. Emery,
But that
we must
happens
leave it, I'm
in
afraid.
every other diving company who does training. They get grants and will continue so to.
Not in Norway.
Thank you both very much indeed. Thank you.
Great poets are well known for starting their careers young. Keats published his first sonnet when he was 21. Dylan Thomas was writing verse for his school magazine when he was 15 and had produced the bulk of his poetry by the time he was only 21. Merseyside poet Brian Patton was publishing his own poetry magazine when he was 15 and published his first book at 18. Well, this week's winners of the Poetry Society's annual children's competition were evidence that poets start younger and younger. And what's more, nearly all of them were girls. Here are some samples of their work.
When I'm old. When I'm old, I shall jump queues and push in front of children. I shall let off stink bombs in first-class hotels. And I shall wear glasses like Elton John. When I'm an old woman, I shall buy a parrot and teach it to swear. But I'm still a young girl, so I must wait in queues, act polite in first-class hotels, not decorate my eyes, and not teach my parrot to swear.
Cats sleep anywhere. Cats sleep anywhere. In Ned's lap and Grandad's cap. In his frocks inside a box. Dumped in a bin, put in a tin. On a rug inside a mug. Underneath hedges, on top of ledges. And on top of tables. On top of a chair. Cats sleep anywhere.
The happy snail. I may be slow and stupid, and my shell worn very thin. But at least I have a merry heart, and always wear a grin. I'm always ready for a laugh, and smile when things go wrong, although I'm old and sleepy now, and shan't last very long. When I was young, I used to crawl around the garden lawn, but now it makes my old bones creak, and the beetles laugh with scorn. I really must go back inside my shell. It's time for bed. So if you want to talk any more, talk to the ants instead.
Halloween. Have you ever wondered about this special night? Look out of the window, leaving off the light. Over the treetops in the sky, witches have been known to fly. Eerie noises, bumps and groans. Every shadow seems to moan. No one knows what has been seen on this night of Halloween.
Oh, Katherine Armitage in Leeds, that was a lovely poem, Halloween. Is that the first poem you've written?
No, I wrote some more before I wrote this one.
Were you surprised to be one of the winners?
Yes, I was.
Did you notice? I noticed that you structured the poem very cleverly. You started each first line with the letters H-A-L-L-O-W-W-E-N, which is very clever. Did you take a long time to think of that?
Well, I'd done it once before in a poem, so I knew it would work out.
Have you got any favourite poems?
Yes, I like one called From a Railway Carriage by Robert Louis Stevenson and one called Hunter Trials by John Betjeman.
Why do you like those particularly?
Well, I like From a Railway Carriage because it's got a nice rhythm, and I like Hunter Trials because it's very funny.
What was your prize?
A book of poems called I Like This Poem.
And you're going to carry on writing poems, are you now?
Yes, I think so.
Well, Katherine Armitage, good luck. Thanks very much indeed, and congratulations on being one of the winners.
Thank you.
And now it's time for some more of your suggestions for ways of celebrating the 80th birthday of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Your ideas are still pouring in, and tonight it's a notion from Mrs. Rita Shepherd of Alton in Hampshire.
I thought how nice it would be if we could have a box on each post office and library counter into which people could drop just 1 penny. The young and the old, the rich and the poor could all afford a penny. If this idea could be carried out nationwide, on her 80th birthday we could then give her the money to buy a racehorse, and perhaps she would give some of the money to the starving. It would be the nation's gift to a very wonderful Queen Mum.
And we've calculated that if we all did that, the fund would reach £5 million. Mr. Arnold Pilgrim of Leeds has a rather special reason to celebrate on August the 4th. He's also 80 on that day, and he thinks it should be declared a national holiday. Failing that, he's going to have his own little celebration by going down to the village green and swinging around the maypole.
And inevitably, the royal memento industry is gearing itself up for the big day. It's almost like a replay of the Silver Jubilee. The Royal Mint planned to issue a special Queen Mother coin, but not just the collector's version at £28. They're also issuing 250,000 as normal at 25p coins. They'll go into normal circulation, but no doubt they'll soon be snapped up by memento collectors. They'll also be able to collect the special stamps issued on the day. But the royal artefact industry doesn't stop there. If you've £134 to spare, you can get yourself a royal do-it-yourself tapestry from Harrods. Where else? Or there's always the bargain version at a mere £58. Royal plates abound. This one hand-painted by the disabled of Dorincourt in Surrey. And in the West Country, a group of Benedictine monks have also been turning their hand to the potter's wheel.
So there are the pieces made by the monastery pottery, the goblets and the powder box with the motive of the Queen Mother. Could I ask, Brother Bede, why you wish to commemorate the Queen Mother's birthday?
Well, we've done quite a number of commemorative pieces before, including one for the Queen's Jubilee, which we very much enjoyed doing. And so when this occasion came along with somebody like the Queen Mother, who's such a great person and so popular, it seemed natural to us to think of doing one to commemorate her birthday.
Well, they're very handsome pieces. As I've said, Brother Stephen, now you actually hand decorate the pottery. Can you show us exactly what you do?
Yes, the silhouette itself is a transfer, in fact, because it would be impossible to hand paint all those silhouettes with any sort of success. The gilding on the inside and the gold bands on the outside of the goblet and the outside of the box are done by hand, and we use 22-carat gold for that.
So how long would it take you to do one of the goblets, say?
I would say about 4 minutes. Mm-hmm. To put the gold on the inside and the bands on the outside.
Right. And can you tell us the price that you would hope to sell the goblets at?
I think it's around £9.
Around £9. Well, they're very handsome commemorative objects indeed. And I should just mention, in case anyone's wondering, that the money that will be raised from the sale of these just goes to the upkeep of the Abbey. Brother Bede and Brother Stephen, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
As for her daughter's Jubilee, there's going to be a large number of exhibitions of one sort or another. Now, perhaps the most impressive is that at the National Portrait Gallery in London. It's their most popular exhibition ever. It features not just photos through the ages, but also the Queen Mum as seen by artists since the days of her childhood. From the chocolate box representation of her as an 8-year-old to a distinctive Augustus John portrait. He was said to be too nervous to paint his royal subject. The most recent is a rather wistful, unfinished Graham Sutherland. As a bonus, they've persuaded the Queen Mum to lend her wedding dress. Dresses also feature strongly at the Museum of London exhibition. They've managed to secure not only the coronation robe of 1937 plus its velvet trail, but also the dresses worn at that coronation by the two young princesses, Elizabeth and Margaret.
This year, the Royal Photographic Society has opened a new national centre in Bath, and for their first exhibition, they've chosen a rare selection of photographs of the Queen Mum. There's 120 photos in all, many of them on public display for the first time. They've come from a wide range of sources. Some were lent by Lady Bowes-Lyon, the Queen Mother's sister-in-law. Others have come from small local newspapers. The exhibition's proved to be a great success. Since it opened just over a month ago, it's had more than 10,000 visitors from all over the world.
But what official engagements are planned for the birthday period? Well, last week she was in her native land saying thank you to the many connected with her there. And that visit culminated in a bumper garden party and beating the retreat in Edinburgh. All of this week is taken up in visiting her new domain of the Cinque Ports. Yesterday, Deal, today, Dover. All in all, a busy schedule for anyone, and it doesn't ease off either. Next Tuesday, July the 15th, sees a special service of Thanksgiving at St Paul's Cathedral, preceded almost inevitably by a carriage procession from Buckingham Palace. Two days after that, on the 17th of July, yet another garden party. This one in her daughter's garden at Buckingham Palace. It'll give the many organisations of which she's patron or president a chance to say happy birthday.
On the birthday itself, there's a family outing to the ballet. They're going to a special gala performance at Covent Garden by the Royal Ballet. Perhaps it will remind the Queen Mother of her 14th birthday party, also spent at the theatre. The young Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon was bemused, apparently, by a stir in the auditorium. She later heard the cause of it. World War I had just been declared. Well, the circle around the royal family are often shy of talking about them. We've managed, however, to talk to Lord Salisbury, whose family are close friends of the Queen Mother. His family home, like hers, is in Hertfordshire, and the two families are certainly old friends.
Lord Salisbury, your family's known the Queen Mother over the years. What do you think she will make of these celebrations?
Well, I think she will be very touched at the feeling that's been shown to her and very appreciative of it. But after all, it is a great compliment.
Well, what do you think are her particular qualities which give her such popular appeal?
Well, I would have said that one of the most important things was her sense of duty. I think it shows through everything she's done ever since she married. And perhaps one might cite everything she did during the Blitz, her visits all around London to the Bondi families, and the sympathy she showed on those occasions, the desire to share their problems with them.
Right. But this wasn't done in a heavy way, was it?
No, I think one of the delightful things about her is that she has a great sense of fun. And she enjoys what she's doing, wants other people to enjoy it. And so, however serious things are, there's always a light touch.
Well, I was going to ask how you might think that she would wish that we would celebrate her birthday.
I think she would be delighted to feel that many people were thinking of her. And this would perhaps give her more pleasure than anything. People should feel that all she has done for them was really appreciated.
Now, how do you think, from what you know of the Queen Mother, how do you think she would want to celebrate her own birthday?
Well, I think she's very fond of her family, and I can imagine no way that she would prefer doing that, perhaps in the country, which is, of course, her first love. She was brought up there and loves all country pursuits.
Because she's quite keen on sport and that kind of thing, isn't she?
Well, we know. She's very keen on horses and gets a lot of pleasure out of it. She's not only a keen fisherwoman, but I'm told an excellent one. And she's a very good gardener and has a very deep knowledge of and love of flowers.
So, outdoor pursuits?
I think, don't you?
And you think on that day, as you've indicated, that if we all had rather happy thoughts for her, that would make her quite happy?
I'm sure it would, yes.
Lord Salisbury, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And finally, one primary school in the Midlands will pay their own unique tribute. They're the Hayden Hill School, and theirs is a musical celebration. On Saturday, every class will sing songs from the 8 decades of Her Majesty's life. We got a sneak preview and dipped into the first decade.
Ta-ra-ra-bum-dee, 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 ta-ra-ra-bum-dee. A sweet tuxedo girl you see, Queen of Soul Society, fond as fun can be, when it's on the strict duty. I'm not too young, I'm not too old, not too timid, not too bold, just the kind who like to hold, just the kind for sport I'm told. Ta-ra-ra-bum-dee, 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 ta-ra-ra-bum-dee. Daisy, Daisy, give me your arms
very difficult to improve on that, I think. Hayden Hill School at Whalley in the Midlands. Absolutely delightful. From all of us, good night.
On BBC2 in just over 4 minutes, the continuing saga of Dallas, the everyday story of oil country folk, finds the infamous JR still desperately trying to discredit Bobby's new wife Pamela as a spy in the house.
In a moment, The Wonderful World of Disney continues programmes on BBC1 for Wednesday. At 7:40, Elaine Half Hot Mum.
Daddy, I beg your pardon.
Do you think there'll be any girls?
Well, there better be. I'm not dancing with you.
At 8:10, the big time comes for a young curate who fulfills a burning ambition to be a Fleet Street cartoonist.
Oh, what a beauty.
At 9:25, The Good Old Days, featuring Bernard Cribbins.
Oh, what a beauty. Must be 2 foot long or even more.
The White Tribe of Africa at 10:15 examines the massive powers of the nationalist government.
The hopes of white South Africans for a stable future now rest solely on the National Party and its new leader, P.W. Burton. He appeals to all South Africans to rally to the flag because, he says, South Africa is already at war.
Finally, at 11:05, Theo Kojak is involved in a race against the clock in a hunt for a ruthless crime syndicate, rounding off Wednesday evening's programmes on BBC1.
So now the first part of a two-part story about the strange monster of Strawberry Cove.
The Wonderful World of Disney. And now, from the Wonderful World of Disney, the strange monster of Strawberry Cove.